there's no time for me to look back or look ahead. There's so much going on, and I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I still want to keep playing. And after this game, I'll probably take a week or two off and then get back to work. So I'd love to, do that after winning the game. Make the off season obviously a lot more enjoyable.
On the football field, he was as dedicated as any player. As a teammate, he's as good a teammate as you could have.
Brady to throw right away, and he hits Kirby.
He took it upon himself to work really hard, and now you see the final result.
He was so annoyed that he got taken so late in the draft.
He wants to prove the 198 guys ahead of him weren't as good as him.
They were expecting that he'd be a solid quarterback and maybe even a very good quarterback someday, but he exceeded all their expectations.
But he throws an incomplete pass, he goes nuts. Somebody runs the wrong route, he goes nuts.
The guy's down by 25 points in the second half, and you still think it's Tom Brady. It's not completely over.
That's why you play to the end. It's a 60-minute game, and we're disappointed in the way we played and knew that we could go out and do a lot better in the second half.
Tom's next game isn't against the opponent, it's against the critics.
He meets Bob Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, and he says, "I'm the best decision this franchise has ever made." Just think about that.
See, he's the most hated quarterback. Why? Because he's the best quarterback.
There is a similarity between throwing a football and throwing a baseball. A lot of the arm action is the same. The body position, the use of your legs is the same. There's just a little bit difference in the delivery. The actual ball coming out of the hand is a little different because the baseball, you're on the top, football, you're on the side. But Tommy's throwing ability, he threw both balls great. He's one of the best catchers I've had at throwing the ball. I mean, he was a big, strong guy. He's a left-handed hitter. He had power. He could hit home runs. I think he would have had power in professional baseball. He was a good hitter for an average. Probably his only downfall was he didn't run real well, and he's actually gotten better at that.
My connection with Tom Brady, as he played JV football here for me as some other sports, and his family, they not too far from the high school here. And the parents are very involved in his life. They keep away from the sports, but they're very influential to him at the same time. They make sure Tommy does the right things, works hard, and is very respectful of his coaches. So that in itself told me something about the family. It's like, oh, I don't have to worry about parents. His dad was an athlete. His sisters were a college softball pitcher, one of the best in the nation. His other sisters, I believe, were soccer players, all at top-ranked colleges. And Tommy, being the baby of the family, was around a ball, a football. His dad was baseball, always something in his hands at all times.
He would always love to talk about his sisters. He's the youngest of four, but he was a pretty simple guy. He was in the sports and his family. There wasn't a lot of other stuff. Would he have succeeded in Major League Baseball? Without question. He played against Eric Bakich, the Michigan baseball coach. They were high school rivals, their teams, and they played against each other in high school. Yeah, Tommy was a legit MLB prospect, without question.
I think Tom Brady would have potentially been a major league catcher. I think he had that kind of ability. But to forecast that Tom Brady would have become as great in baseball as he did in football, you can't do, because he would have had to become the greatest player of all time in baseball, and that, as good as he was, that would have been a long shot.
So when you see something special come through, you're sort of just pointing at it and go, huh, I think we could do something with that. And here was a kid, because as Tom is, he's slow in feet, but he works at it, and he has a good mind for the game, and he really worked on his throwing mechanics, and he threw a very nice ball. He played catcher in baseball, and he was what I thought he would actually play, but he kept pursuing football, and I guess that one paid off a little bit for him.
And I'm not a really reactive athlete. You know, people who have seen me play for a long time, I like to really anticipate things when I'm out there.
Not sure if we've ever done a high school football game in our 5 years where you could say that. Yeah, it's very impressive thus far for both these teams. Both teams have played an excellent ball game, and it's not done yet.
I was really impressed when I saw him in person, face to face, because I was shocked how big he is. You know, I always thought that he is, you know, my size, maybe 1.88 meters, something like that. Not that muscular, but if you see him in person on the field with cleats on, shoulder pads and helmet, he is not a small guy. I think a lot of people don't realize that I think he is 6'4", 1.93 meters. He is bigger than a lot of people think.
I was the first guy to believe in Tom. So I said, hey, I got someone who can play quarterback. Hey, he's intelligent. I can do some special things. And I worked hard with Tommy whenever he wanted that extra time. I gave him the extra time. I think that was it, just the belief in him, positive coaching, and then also just the extra work when he wanted it.
Brady to Kirby at the 25, down to the 21.
He said he really wanted to be a quarterback, and when that guy puts his mind to something, he's pretty driven. So he always goes the extra mile, doing the extra work to try to perfect whatever he's doing, even at that age.
You got to put the work in. You got to listen. You got to be humble enough to learn. You know, you can't think you know everything. You got, you know, football's too difficult of a game, and there's too much. It's not an individual sport. It's a coordination between a lot of different people.
Brady to throw right away, and he hits Kirby out to the 36-yard line. It's going to be just short of a first down, pickup of 9.
No, in high school, we were really good friends on the football field. Tom and I actually created our own plays back then. We created a signal to where he would look out and check out the defense. He would pull his face mask, and for me to acknowledge it back, I would pull up my left sock, and then we knew that he was going to throw me the pass on that play. You can definitely see him improvise from time to time, and you know, his famous quarterback sneak where he goes over the top, that's kind of a play that he'll just call and not even let the other linemen know. So yeah, I see that all the time, and it's really awesome to hear his cadence or to hear him on TV when he's saying red 35, and it's funny. I used to be on this field hearing that same voice all the time, so it's very, very familiar.
Brady looking over the defense, 6'4", has the slant if he wants it, and he takes it. Kirby at the 45, a pickup of 11, and a first down.
We couldn't have anybody film for us. The varsity did, but not the lower level. And they would get the films and they'd be watching film, other games. I'd be watching films of other teams, but they're watching themselves and critiquing themselves. And then I'm sure they bring it home, and you know, Tom Sr. is doing it. And
back in the early 90s, there wasn't a lot of football film study, especially in high school, and Tom brought it on himself with myself and the other receivers, that every Sunday we'd play on either a Friday or a Saturday. Every Sunday we'd go to his house for lunch, me, him, and the other receivers. His mom would make us, you know, sandwiches. We'd sit down and analyze the film.
Brady to throw. Kirby with a great catch over the shoulder at the 35.
Sprinkler Gate was our sophomore year championship when Tommy, it was his first year as a starter and my first year as a starting receiver. We went down to play Bellarmine for the league championship. We were driving for the winning touchdown, go-ahead touchdown, and it was 6 p.m. because our game had gone so long. And at 6 p.m. back then, the sprinklers came on. So we had to wait about 15 minutes for them to, you know, clear everything out. Sprinklers go down. We start driving down the field. Sprinklers come on again. Have to stop it again. To get the ball back, the ball's wet. Tommy drops back, throws a swing to our running back. He fumbles. They pick it up and take it to the house. And I swear to this day, Bellarmine turned those sprinklers on purpose.
I think the fact that Tom Brady was a really good recruit when he came to Michigan. People expected him to be a good player. They never expected him to be a great player, and that's what he became. In my book about Greg Harden, the counselor at Michigan who worked with our athlete, Tom Brady walked into his office one day and said, one of the guys on the team said, "You can help me. You know, I want to be the starter at Michigan. I'm not there. I'm way down on the depth chart." And Greg Harden got Tom Brady to believe in himself in their conversations to the point where he was able to perform at a high level. Tom Brady kind of becoming an afterthought. You know, Tom Brady and Drew Brees played against each other in college in 1999. Like, everybody talks about their pro careers, but in 1999, Tom Brady and Michigan was number 4 in the country and Purdue was number 11 in the country in 1999. And Tom Brady and Michigan won 38-12. And that was the first time that those guys played. You know, that's phenomenal that two guys both lasted for over 20 years in the game of football and became, you know, perhaps the two most accomplished statistical quarterbacks of all time.
Drew Henson was LeBron James and Tom Brady level high school player. He was the best high school player in baseball and football in the United States. He won them both in USA Today. And Drew is from Brighton, Michigan, which is about 20 minutes outside of Ann Arbor. He was the biggest recruit probably in the history of Michigan football. He came here to Michigan. Great talent, great friend of mine, great guy. And he was Chiefs, he was supposed to be the Michigan quarterback in '98 and '99. And there was one problem. There was one person in Ann Arbor who didn't think that Drew Henson should be the quarterback. Thomas Edward Brady didn't think Drew Henson should be the quarterback. The Syracuse game in 1998 was one of the worst experiences I've ever had at Michigan. I was with the team for almost 6 years. We had lost the first game, Notre Dame. We had lost the Syracuse game. The whole team had played bad, and the fans turned on Tom. And they were booing him. They wanted Drew Henson to play. It was very bad. I was afraid he was going to leave. I thought he was going to transfer. It was very bad. I thought Drew Henson was going to be the quarterback from heading forward. And I just let Tom know I believed in him, and we're going to rally, and he's got to keep fighting, and I believed in him. We played basketball together, intramural basketball together, and we were playing these frat guys, and they were making fun of Tom because of Drew Henson. And the game's over, we're about to win, we're up by like 20 points, and Tommy looks at me, says, Beeve, how many fouls do I have? And Tommy's got 2 fouls, you're allowed 4. And he says, Beeve, next time you bring the ball up the court, sprint up the court, and don't look back, whatever you do. Get the ball, sprint up the court, all of a sudden I hear a splat. Tommy elbowed the guy that was making fun of him the whole game and like knocked the kid off. That's like Tom Brady today moment in 1999. Hilarious. I was offering to beat this kid up the whole game. Tom's like, Beeve, don't worry about it. Just classic. Classic Tom Brady. Cleans up his own mess, as he would like to say.
By the time he left Michigan, he had a great Orange Bowl game where he threw for 369 yards and 5 touchdowns. That was his last college game, beat Alabama in overtime. And that's the game that put him on the map.
Simply by that, he's a role model to a lot of people. Simply by being an NFL player and becoming one, making that transition from college to the NFL opens a lot of doors and dreams for the youth. But then being as successful as he was, his work ethic, his continuous drive to win, there are a lot of things that we can learn from that man.
And I remember when we drafted him back in 2000, I mean, he had a chip on his shoulder because he was so annoyed that he got taken so late in the draft. He got taken in the 6th round, the 199th player.
I think Tom Brady definitely had to have a chip on his shoulder as a 6th-round draft pick. It's like that's all they think of me. You know, knowing that he closed out his college career so strongly, he probably didn't expect to be a 1st-round draft pick, but he might have been thinking, no, I'll go in the 2nd, the 3rd round, and then tick, 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 6th round you go, and it's like I've got some people to prove some things to.
I think if Tom wasn't drafted in the 6th round or drafted 199, it would have changed a lot of things. Because what makes Tom so successful, he wants to prove the 198 guys ahead of him weren't as good as him.
When Tom Brady got drafted by the Patriots, I was the pro football editor at the Tampa Tribune, and I'm paying attention to who the Bucs are drafting, but more than anything, I'm actually where my boys going, the guys I covered at Michigan. And when I saw that he went there, I knew it was a winning program and that would be good, but I also knew that Drew Bledsoe was a quarterback and that wasn't that good. However, as a 6th-round draft pick, you'd figure Tom needed a couple of years to kind of get his feet on the ground and be ready to be a starter. You know, so it seemed like a good situation for Tom to go to New England.
He was so excited. I told him I was excited for him. He was going to my team, the Patriots. And he was getting ready to hang up on me, and he said something pretty damn funny. He knows I love Drew Bledsoe. And of course, Tom Brady being Tom Brady says, Beeve, I'm going to take Bledsoe's job.
The thing that amazes me about Tom Brady is he's a 6th-round draft pick. Those guys are marginal. They might not even make the team. And he meets Bob Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, and he says, "I'm the best decision this franchise has ever made." Just think about that. You know, I mean, here's a guy who was a pretty good quarterback at Michigan who goes 6th round of the draft, and that's what he tells the owner, and he made good on it.
I was happy when Tom Brady made the Patriots. I felt sorry for Drew Bledsoe, but when that went down, we had a few of the other coaches around, and we were so excited. He's in the game. Look at, he's made it to the pros. And then it just escalated from there.
They can't really see your heart, you know, and there's so many free agents, so many late round draft picks who had amazing Hall of Fame careers, because one thing you can never measure or see is the heart, really. And I think he's one of those players where just the eternal, the nonstop drive for you to become the best, to be better than you were yesterday.
Brady being drafted in the 6th round. He can name the quarterbacks that went before him. Every one of them, seen him do it plenty of times. For him, Brady is like, you're good, but you're not good enough to be the man. You know, so I think for him getting drafted in the 6th round and every quarterback going before him, that just gave him the motivation to go out and try to prove that he can play this game at a high level.
I think, when I think of Bill Belichick, I think of toughness, and he demands that of his players, toughness and loyalty and playing the game the right way and being a 12-month-a-year player. I think that, he's an old-school football coach, not just because he's an older guy. I think he's made good contributions to the game. Anybody who wins the number of Super Bowls he's won has to be a solid coach. I don't know that he had a huge impact on Tom Brady. I think he had some impact on Tom Brady, but not a huge impact.
I think Bill did a really good job back in 2001. On August 5th of that year, the guy who was just coaching quarterbacks, close friend of mine, by the name of Dick Rabine, died. Okay, he died in training camp on a day off. We had a day off in training camp, and he was running on a treadmill and passed out on a treadmill. And then I talked to him that day, and he was fine, and he was going to get a stress test the next day, and had the stress test, and he dropped, and he was dead. And Belichick and I sat down, and we decided that we would handle the quarterback position just ourselves. So I think even back then, starting all the way back in 2001, I think he's had a very, very big positive influence on Tommy. I'm from New Jersey, and as growing up in New Jersey, even though Tommy was kind of cocky, he knew not to get carried away. We had one instance in practice where Tommy threw the ball to the wrong guy. It was a completion. Okay, they caught it. But, certain plays are designed to go to a certain spot, and he didn't throw it to the right spot. So I looked at him and I said, "Why'd you throw it there?" And he goes, "Well," I said, "where are you supposed to go versus that coverage? Where's the ball supposed to go?" And he goes, "Well, it's really supposed to go to the tight end." I go, "Was the tight end open?" He goes, "I don't know, I didn't look at him." I said, "Why didn't you look at him?" And he goes, "Well, because, I threw it back there." So I took off my whistle around my neck, and I threw it at him. And he goes, "What?" I said, "You might as well call the plays. If you're not going to listen to me, I'm the one supposed to be calling the plays. Now you're calling the plays?" So, for the next few years, we no longer had that argument. He actually was our 4th string quarterback that whole year. Most teams in the league keep 3. We kept him because we saw something in him. He wasn't anywhere near ready. You know, he used that year to get himself, his body ready and his mind ready. And, you know, by the end of that first year, he only threw 3 passes. He had 1 completion. He was 1 for 3 his first year in the league.
Brady had already been in New England a year before I got there. You know, they drafted him in 2000. I got there in 2001. But Drew Bledsoe was the man. Drew Bledsoe had just signed a contract, became the first $100 million quarterback. And so it's Drew's team.
And nobody could have fathomed. Drew Bledsoe was the highest paid player in the NFL at that time, and really top-notch quarterback. And the fact that Tom Brady took the job when he got a chance and never looked back, I think that's the most phenomenal thing. And you think, what if Drew Bledsoe had never gotten hurt? And what if Tom Brady had backed him up for 3 years? And what if he, you know, sort of atrophied or something like, you know, in his career and never really got the chance to be Tom Brady? But a lot of, you know, when a guy becomes great, they need to really want it, which Tom obviously wants it as badly as anybody, still does.
Until he get a full grasp of the offense and of the playbook, because he's just getting thrown in, they had to lean on me. They had to lean on Antoine in the running game until we slowly brought Tommy along in the playbook. And as you can see it, each game, he's getting better and better in the passing game. He's getting more familiar. He's getting, you know what I'm saying, he's getting more comfortable in the plays that's being called. And you can see it. He's a very fiery guy.
Tommy needed to be on the Patriots and learn from Bill Belichick and Charlie Weiss and Dick Rabine and Drew Bledsoe. You asked me if Tom would be what he was if Drew Bledsoe didn't get hurt. I don't believe so. But there's a second part to that that's very important that nobody talks about. Tom won the backup quarterback job in the offseason in 2001 from Damian Ewart. And if he didn't work hard and win that job, you would not know who he is. You would not be interviewing me right now.
As they say, one man's trash, another man's treasure.
He was in a fight for the backup quarterback with a guy that we had just picked up from the Dolphins by the name of Damian Ewart. And at the end of training camp, Bill and I sat down and we picked Tommy by this much. It wasn't like he beat him out by a lot. And when Bledsoe got hurt early in the year and Tommy went in, we took baby steps. We didn't get too wild. We didn't throw the ball all over the place. We kind of took steps and let the offense grow as the year went on. And grow it did, because by the end of that year, you know, we're in a 2-minute drive to win the Super Bowl with Tommy at the helm. And next thing you know, confetti's all over the place, and we had just won the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl 36.
Super Bowl Sunday. If you plan in it, you're a wreck. First of all, the night before seemed like the longest night. You have plays going over in your head. You don't want to make a mistake. You can dream about making a big play, as you also dream about, you really don't get no productive rest. And you wake up that morning, about 6 a.m., you go to breakfast. You know, the Super Bowl is played later on that evening, so you got another long day anticipating, waiting for it to happen, and you just kill yourself, beating yourself up. You can't rest easy. You just want to get to the stadium and get that first lick so you can get the butterflies out your stomach. So then you know that you're ready to play ball.
His biggest moment ever was Super Bowl 36, where he hit Troy Brown. We had 4 wide receivers on the field. It was a tie ball game.
Belichick was like, defense, you have to be physical on their receivers, because their little fast little receivers get in and out. And he was like, on the offensive side, Antoine, we got to run you. We got to play a ball control game. We got to slow the game down for them. Keep the offense. If our offense is on the field, that means their offense is on the bench, and that's what we want to do, slow them down.
They had all the momentum. There was a little over a minute to go. Okay, we had no timeouts. And we're playing with this inexperienced quarterback, a second-year guy, his first year playing. The last thing Bill said to him, said, no matter what, you can't take a sack. And I said to him, don't forget your check down, which is a very conservative route where you just dump the ball off to the back. And Bledsoe was standing there, and he goes, the hell with that. He goes, just sling it, you know, and just go ahead and sling it. Don't worry about that.
The Rams had just tied the game up. It's 17-17. They went there, they had all the momentum. And they kicked the ball off. We get stuck in our own end, deep in our own end of the field. So, first play, Brady come out, they almost get sacked. He do a little dump off pass to J.R. Redmond. J.R. gets some yards. So, second play, I think he hit J.R. again. So J.R. on the sideline, he do a little move, he gets out of bounds. And now, everybody on our sideline is feeling good about ourselves. Like, here we go, because we don't want to go to overtime.
And you know how it is in momentum. Once a team's got momentum, you know, it's tough to stop that rolling once they have it. So, I mean, it was probably one of the greatest drives that there's been in the Super Bowl history, because all the momentum was on the other side and with a relatively inexperienced quarterback.
And I honestly feel if that game had went to overtime, I think the Rams would have been a different outcome.
Okay, we're just on our side of midfield. Okay, we had 3 receivers on the right, 1 on the left. All 3 receivers on the right were all running in cuts. They were all running ins at different levels. He hit the first of the 3, the inside guy of the 3. His name was Troy Brown, one of my favorite players, who then ran out of bounds up the left sideline and got us into field goal range.
When he kicked the ball, I'm behind it, so I see it. If anybody ever see the dude that's running on the field when we won the first Super Bowl, high kicking and stuff, and doing this, that's me. Because I'm behind him, I see it, I'm on the field, I'm standing, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, like, oh shit, we won. It's just, I lose my mind, man. It's unbelievable in that moment, the feeling. You just, total emotions just take over, and that was the greatest feeling I have ever had.
I think the locker room after his first Super Bowl win, I think that would have been pretty terrific. I would love to be there.
Oh, the after party after winning the Super Bowl. So, Mr. Kraft, he has it set out for us. He has it set out. We go back to the hotel. We go to the party room. It's champagne, it's beer, it's caviar, and all the players in the family, everybody in one big room. And everybody just had a blast. I'm talking about, we had a blast into the wee mornings of the hours. Everybody congratulating, taking pictures with the Lombardi trophy, just feeling good about ourselves, like we are the champions of the world.
After we won Super Bowl 36, all of a sudden you had all these girls chasing him, all these movie stars. And because they heard how close he and I were at the time, I would have agents for these movie stars reaching out to me to see if they could get to Tommy. So I sat him down and said, look, you didn't get good looking overnight. Like all of a sudden, no one wanted you. Now all of a sudden you win a Super Bowl and they think you're good looking. So I was making fun of him, but in reality letting him know, be careful, be careful, because you've gone from a person that no one knew to a superstar. You know, you got to be careful. So that was my advice to him off the field.
Bill Belichick and the way he handles his business, the Patriot Way, and the way Tom Brady functioned not only as an athlete, but as a human being. Well, the Patriot Way is, there's one phrase, do your job.
Check your ego at the door. That's a simple way of telling you what the Patriots are all about. Check your ego at the door.
I was one of the teammates that kind of started the Patriots Way, when we started winning. But it's just hard-nosed, grinding, knowing your assignment, as the phrase they do now that they got also is do your job, meaning just do your job. Don't worry about trying to do nobody else's job. If you got 11 guys doing their job, that's the Patriots Way. And it's just playing fun, sound, fundamental football, mistake-free.
You got a lot of people, a lot of people in a professional sports team that have big egos. You have owners who have big egos. You have coaches who have big egos. You got players who have big egos. Okay, there's a lot of egos. And Bill, better than anyone I've ever seen, has been able to get everyone to check their egos at the door and make it all about the team. He cuts players that are really good players. He trades players that are really good players, because if it's in the best interest of the team, then he's going ahead and doing it. That's because of the locker room. See, problem guys, we used to say they like to find that little group in the locker room where they could bitch and moan about, everything. But when you walk into that locker room, there was nowhere for them to go. So what would they do? They'd convert, because that's what you do. And I think that Bill gets credit for that, for building that mentality that good football team, the locker room really controls, what happens with the players.
Tom is always focused on his job, whatever his task is, whether it's being a dad, whether it's being a quarterback, whether it's being a training for football and in life. He's always laser focused, and he's got an incredible ability to focus on whatever he's doing at the time and excel at it.
Sometimes you got to fight your own way through, and that's exactly, what Tom proved, all the way through Michigan, and then, becoming what he is today.
Tommy, yeah, there was always better athletes than Tommy. Harder workers? No. More heart? No. More competition? No. Those are the little extra boxes that you check off when you're playing.
He has this insatiable desire to make himself better and make his team better.
He never rests on the accomplishment that he has right now on the past. He's always looking to get the next ring, the next win, the next championship.
Well, there's nothing about last year, that's in the past. We have a new experience this year, so our future, we've got to be able to create our own future, and that's really about attitude, effort, preparation.
Tom is always motivated by Tom, you're too old, Tom, you're too slow. Tom's next game isn't against the opponent, it's against the critics and the people who don't believe in Tom. And Tom's whole focus is, I'm going to shut these people up.
You can find somebody like that and you still let them know you can't do it. That just adds even more, gas into the fire where it's just like, oh, you think I can do it? Now I'm going to go twice as hard. So it's like there's certain people you should not, irritate them.
Is Brady a practice monster? Let me take my hat off for this one. It would be some times after practice. Now, remind you, Brady, he started off as the third string quarterback. He moved his way up to the second string. And when Drew Bledsoe got hurt, he became the first string quarterback. And he would have us after practice, running routes, catching balls. Come on, Torn, let's go. With all the backs running the routes. And we'd be like, God damn, we just practiced full pads for 2 hours, getting hit on, ran. All you did was throw the quarterback. You can't hit the quarterback. But we beat up, but he still wanted to go out there and practice. But that was him toning his craft, learning the game, and being a professional player that he is today. Just that drive to be the best that he could be. Tommy, he truly plays the way that he practiced. In practice, he would talk at Lawyer Malloy and Ty Law. Because when he was younger, coming in, was coming in with Blesser, they would tease him, they would pick him up, throw it right here, Brady, and that would fire him up, that would make him so mad. And so when he would make a good play against one of those, was against Ty, Lawyer, somebody in practice, or anybody, a good throw, he'd be like, yeah, that's it, I told y'all, I got this. And that's the type of fiery guy that Tommy is. And it started truly, so what you see, he was doing that in practice, so that is, when he does it in the game, ain't no pretending right there. That is Tom Brady.
I don't know what motivates Tom now, but I'll give you an example. He was playing in one of those little golf tournaments. Tom was in the parking lot before doing sprints, and I know this because my son-in-law was there watching it, and he's going, he left, he did sprints, he played 18 holes, and then he went back to the parking lot and did more sprints because he had practice coming up in a few days. That in itself is saying he's always doing something, and when he was here, it was always, well, I need to throw extra. Coach, stay extra. Hey, Coach, I need to work on my footwork.
He was very tough on himself, and we may have won a game, but he didn't get a hit, and it was hard for him to accept that. And just to get him to relax and understand how important he was to us.
Got to come show up to work every day, try to go out and get our job done. It's today wasn't our best day, so I guess I'm a little frustrated from that.
We as running backs been practicing all day. You got pass on, you getting beat up, you getting beat to the ground. And he want to play catch after practice. And you like, damn, Tommy, man, we tired. Then he come, we're trying to be great. And then all that coming, you be like, one of them days, you be like, man, I don't want to hear that today, man. I'm finna go in, I'm tired. But then here you go. Okay, man. Now we got to play catch with him because now he done got mad. And then we done got mad because we tired and want to go in, but he want to play catch.
It's one thing if, we miss a pass, we catch a pass. I'm concerned with us, doing the things that we talked about doing and executing them the right way. And then, the throwing and catching and blocking and tackling, that's for the game, It doesn't, you catch every ball out here, you go in the game, you drop it, doesn't matter. It's, you got to work on the fundamentals out here, work on your communication. We could definitely do a much better job of that.
And Tom, by the way, can be an asshole when he's playing. Tom gets on guys when they screw up. He yells at them. But they love Tommy. His teammates love him. And it's the fifth string guys and the stars. They'll love him.
There's this level of accountability when you have veteran guys like Tom around, where you're not only going to get it from the coaches, but the veteran players as well, just with the expectations that they have for you.
But he throws an incomplete pass, he goes nuts. Somebody runs the wrong route, he goes nuts. So when he throws an incomplete pass, he'll go nuts on himself now. It's just not nuts on other people. But if somebody runs the wrong route, he'll say, what are you doing? That's an in. He's like another coach on the field. But in practice, he's as competitive in practice as he is in the games. I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, where he wakes up every day and it's the same day. That's what practice is. Every day is the same. So let's just say it's a Wednesday, just a Wednesday. So on Wednesday morning, I'm going to give me leading into him, because I always used to have to be prepared before he got there. So I'd be ready to go at 5 a.m. My assistant coach that would help with the quarterbacks would meet with me at 6 a.m. At 6:30 every day, Tommy would come in alone, go over all the new installation that was going in that we had prepared the night before. 7 o'clock, the rest of the quarterbacks would come in and we'd do it all over again. We'd go over that installation all over again. Then 8 o'clock, he would meet with all the skill people, all the wide receivers, the tight ends, and the running backs, and go over the passes for the day, okay, before we even install them, so that the players had a heads up. Then we'd have a team meeting, and then we'd get going. Going with meetings, get going with practice. Now your practice is over. Okay, now you meet with the players, you'd go over the videotape from that day, and then they would be done with the coaches, because now the coaches had to start preparing for the next day. He doesn't like missing practice. Tommy does not like missing practice. And if he's missing practice, it's just to save his body. It has nothing to do with, he likes practice, you know, because he always felt, and we always felt as an organization, that, you know, when you're gonna practice, you're gonna play like you practice. And that, I think that's one of the reasons why our team won so much, is because we practice so hard.
People say Michael Jordan, they say Kobe number was arrogant and cocky, but you earn it with your play. You earn that respect. If you're not that good, people wouldn't say that you were cocky and say that you were overrated. But see, you earn that through your play. See, he's the most hated quarterback. Why? Because he's the best quarterback. To me, he done more with less talent around him than any other quarterback, as far as at the wide receiver position.
If you are being disliked by people, then you have to earn that. And he earned all the hate that he gets. He earned it because he is the most successful guy. It's tough to be as successful as Tom Brady and being liked by everybody. That's just not the case. I understand if you look at him and you see some of the stuff that goes on the sideline, where he gets into it with Josh McDaniel, his offensive coordinator. You know, he's very competitive, and he will let you know if he's not happy with anything, and that rubs people the wrong way. But ultimately, that's exactly how you want a professional, successful athlete to be. But you know, not everybody understands that, and I understand that fans look at him and say, well, he's too cocky, he's too arrogant. Well, yeah, that might be the case, but you have to have that certain edge to be the best.
Let's go, Brady, let's go, baby. Hey, you better watch out, because we trying to Tom Brady. Let's go, baby, let's go.
Every time you succeed, people will hate, and this man had a lot of success, so there is a correlation between hate and success.
No matter how good you are, no matter how great, no matter how much you perform, there's always somebody who doesn't like what you do. There's always somebody who thinks somebody else could do better than you.
Tom's focus is on winning the next game. Doesn't care what people's opinion are. Does not care. Unless they're in a decision-making position involving Tom. He doesn't care about stuff like that.
And that's why I really like him, because he just comes in here and gets out there.
Gronkowski's managed to be sort of the frat boy, the party animal, without getting in trouble, that's pretty impressive, because almost anybody who flies as loose as Rob Gronkowski does, they tend to get into trouble. And I can't think of any trouble that Rob's gotten into with the law. He seems to know where the line is, and that's difficult if you're out there, partying a lot.
Congratulations, Joe. Thank you. I appreciate it. Big trip. Love you guys. Love Patriot Nation. Okay, perfect. George already Oh my gosh. This is...
I think it's probably the brand that comes with the jersey and the brand that comes with the individual. I think the Tom Brady brand is a different brand than the Gronk brand. The big Gronk, the party Gronk. I can see why people would rather associate with a partying 6'7", 245 dude than a 44-year-old quarterback who has been playing that game for 30, 50, 60 years.
Tom Brady is not famous for being a fancy, good-looking guy. Well, he is good-looking. He's got a gorgeous wife, too. But he is not the swagger type of fashion guy like Cam Newton is. Plus, he is a different generation. He's more the old-school throwback quarterback from the early 2000s. He is not a Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson with his Oakleys on. That's not Tom Brady. The good thing is he doesn't need to sell one single t-shirt anyway, because I think he's pretty wealthy.
I think he patterned his game after Joe Montana. I think him winning 7 Super Bowls, being arguably the best quarterback to ever play in the National Football League, but you'll have some people that say Joe Montana. And I truly think he wants to be up there by himself. I think Brady wants to be up there on the mountain by himself.
You have to have that certain edge to yourself, and obviously some people don't like that, but ultimately he wins, and that's what matters in pro football.
This year, down 25 points. I mean, it's hard to imagine us winning, but it took a lot of great plays, and that's why you play to the end. It's a 60-minute game, and halftime, I'd say we weren't down at all. I mean, we were disappointed in the way we played and knew that we could go out and do a lot better in the second half. So
he's down 28-3, and he wins 34-28. I remember watching that game when he was down, and the announcers even were starting to write him off, and I thought, I don't know that he's going to win this game, but he's going to make a game of it. That's how good he is. You're confident the guy's down by 25 points in the second half, and you still think it's Tom Brady. He's the only guy maybe in the history of football that when he's down by that much in the second half of a game, you think, it's not over. It's not completely over. He's like a coach's nightmare. Every coach is paranoid, and until they're up by 17 points with 2 minutes to go, and football coaches still feel there's some way they can lose the game. But Tom Brady is I think part of the reason for that nightmare, that they think maybe this guy's going to be Tom Brady today. Maybe somebody's going to do what Tom Brady does and find a way to beat us, and that's what Tom does.
The losses in this game are tough. I mean, you're going to live with those for the rest of your life, and those will be games. If you lose, there's regrets about every play in that game. So, when you win, you don't think about any of those things. There's no regrets. So you just got to try to put everything aside so you can have your best performance on Sunday night. That's what we're going to remember most about this week is the game, and that's really what I want to get to be focused on as well.
A lot of stuff that goes on in the media really has nothing to do with what's going on inside the locker room. Inside the locker room, we are worried about the next game, the next opponent, what we can improve on from the week before that. The reality of the NFL is that every year the deck of cards gets shuffled and somebody that you were just playing with is on a different team. You don't know if you're going to be here. You don't know if there's going to be a tomorrow for you. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're the best player at your position.
I just think it was time. You know, you see this a lot in professional sports. Sometimes that's what happens, and you know, you saw the same thing with Joe Montana at the end of the career. They want to bring in younger, fresher people, and Tom wasn't done playing, so made the trip on over to Tampa. As far as I know, they split on good terms. You know, the press sometimes can add a few things here from what I heard, but it was definitely a good split, and everyone left peacefully, and now everyone's moving on, and Tommy's happier.
The Patriots letting him go. 199th pick in the draft. The Brady 6, the 6 guys drafted ahead of him. He remembers all of it, and that fuels him. The bust is your head, so obviously Tommy played there 20 years. He won 6 Super Bowls there. It's not going to change just because Bill Belichick doesn't think he can play anymore.
I don't really know what that was all about, to be honest with you. I think that Tom wanted something different. He'd been there a long time. Probably got a little tired of the New England weather. As far as I feel, I think he wanted to change, and I think he wanted just to show that he can do what he did.
Now they were becoming too confrontational to each other. They were starting to butt heads, and with the media and everything else, who was really bringing the championships, who was bringing all the fame to the Patriots, and they both have egos. And I think it was just a parting of ways. Bill Belichick wanted Garoppolo, wanted someone else instead of Tommy to show that, hey, my system works with anybody. I think Tom took offense to it. Tom goes, well, you know what, my contract's up. I'm gonna go, let me find the right area. Tampa Bay, we're gonna build a winner there.
I mean, you know, those are two guys maybe who found themselves like, who just belong together. Like a rock band that were together and were super successful. And when they split, you see, okay, who still has it?
Yeah, I feel really good. It's been, you know, again, it's the first time in 14 years I haven't had to wear a knee sleeve. I mean, every picture I've had for 14 years has been a knee sleeve, and in games I'll still wear a knee brace just because I still want to protect, you know, from kind of a vulnerable spot for a quarterback, you know, your front left knee. But it's just nice to practice and feel like I can just kind of put a pair of shorts on and run out to practice. And it's good though. I'm feeling, like I said, physically feeling great, mentally in a good place.
A player at the age of 30 might be older in terms of orthopedic structures, but he has a lot more experience to see situations where he can avoid and to play the game more economic than a younger player does. Being at the age of 43 is not a prerequisite to get overuse injuries. It depends on your state of training and depends on your physical state. So there's many players that get overuse injuries at the age of 18, and there's many players that get overuse injuries at the age of 25. So an overuse injury depends on several factors, and that's how you perform your sports, how do you move, how economic do you move, how well trained is your body, and so forth.
I saw that he's doing things differently with his nutrition. You know, he would have his meals prepared and always eat something that looked very healthy, you know, while we might be over here taking advantage of Fat Friday and eating some burgers or eating some pizza. You know, he would always stick to his regimen and just be super disciplined about everything, right?
There's no, you don't get into the TB12 thing. When he was young, he drank beer and ate pizza too, just like everybody else.
You know, the man eating avocado ice cream, for God's sakes. Who in the hell eats avocado ice cream? If I want some ice cream, I want some real ice cream. But that's what it comes to in sports, is you'll spend $1 million a year on taking care of your body.
Tom's TB12 method with the pliability, that's showing, you know, a different way where you can last a lot longer in sports without all the rehabilitation, without the drugs, without that. And so he's been able to do his whole career and last this long without any of that. So, you know, it's the stretching, the pliability, keeping your muscles nice and loose all the time to prevent injury. That's what's always worked for him. And I think that's amazing. I would definitely pass that on to my football players, you know, as they go through in their careers. But I love that he's standing for that and showing natural ways to take care of yourself other than the ways that a lot of us know.
And what Tom always believed in the TB12 is my muscles have to be more supple. If I'm going to play to a longer age, if I'm going to play through injuries, my muscles can't be all tight, rigid. They have to be more fluid. The TB12 method will not change the way the sport's played. The owners are worried about cash. Money talks. Preseason games make money. The more I can do, the better. More times I can put the product in front of the people, the better. The players, on the other hand, are saying, hey, you already know who your stars are. We need more recovery time and more game time. We don't need all that preseason stuff. That's great for the rookies. But now the older guys, more seasoned guys, people who've been around for a while, they're the ones that are saying, hey, no, we need more time off.
Years and years ago, I saw in Sport Magazine, which doesn't even exist anymore, a survey, and they asked Olympic athletes if you could win a gold medal, but you knew that it would cost you to the point where you would be dead in 5 years, would you make that pact? The majority of them in this poll said yes. Oh my goodness, that just tells you how desperate people are to be champions, and how, and I think maybe they think that wouldn't really happen, so that, you know, unless you're going to be held to it, you know, you're not getting a completely truthful answer. But it amazes me that anybody would put their health on the line, especially their life and death health on the line. The bottom line is, in the NFL, your job is there to be taken. And I think that's the fear that motivates more than anything. If I don't play hurt, they'll get somebody else who will play and also play hurt.
Okay, the reason why they protect the quarterbacks, you know, with the rules is because they're getting paid the most amount of money. So if you have a guy who's making $30 million, I mean, do you want that guy hurt and sit, you know, in a medical tent, or you want him on the field? All those people in the stands are paying the money to come watch him play. So that's why the rules protect the quarterbacks.
If he goes down 9 times out of 10, your team is going down. So you cannot hit the quarterback in practice. You cannot even get close to the quarterback in practice. If you think you're getting close to the quarterback in practice, stop, because you will get a tongue lashing by the coach.
If I met Tom Brady today, I'd have a big smile on my face. I'd give him a hug, say he's been a great influence on my family, my friends. And then he would look at me and he'd say, what happened to you? You used to be so thin. When I saw him 3 years ago in Boston, it's exactly what he said. He goes, Coach, I've probably gained 40 pounds since then. He goes, what happened? I go, A, I got older, and 2, the TB12 system doesn't work.
I mean, this game is about winning. I mean, you know, we can give stats for all sorts of people, and he's going to end up having all the stats too. But I mean, this game's about winning.
He is part of the reason why the Patriots are the Patriots. But afterwards, when Tom Brady left the team and went to Tampa Bay, he won the Super Bowl ring.
When I heard that he would be a free agent at the end of the year, I knew he wouldn't be there anymore. Because how does a guy who's been that important, you know, for your organization, how are they free? How are they not contractually bound to being with you? And, you know, whether Tommy wanted out or whether Bill wanted him to go is really a moot point. You know, the point is that he was free and he went somewhere where he thought he had a better chance of winning the Super Bowl. And how'd that work out?
Congratulations to the Bucs. It's been a long time coming, man. Y'all made history tonight. And, hey, we champs.
Great. It was amazing watching the Bucs win a Super Bowl.
This is great for Tampa Bay area. Brady is like a savior for Tampa. We needed him. Thank God, Brady. Go Bucs.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money to come down here to see our favorite team and favorite player, Patrick Mahomes, and it was disappointing. We got shocked. Tom Brady's the GOAT. What are you going to do?
Well, when he went to the Buccaneers, they were the worst organization in the NFL since 1976. And he won a Super Bowl in a COVID season and beat the new golden boy of the NFL, Pat Mahomes.
There was the game where they lost and he threw a couple of picks, and he threw a pick because it was a miscommunication with the receiver. I said, yo, I don't understand. He is using this now to get himself right and get to know all these players, because if the chemistry is right, he's gonna do it. I knew it. And then he won the Super Bowl.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers managed to keep all 22 starters on offense and on defense. He's got the same group of guys around him, and you can bet that Tom Brady is going to keep them motivated, and he's probably already talking about, hey, nobody's going to expect us to repeat, so let's show it to everybody that we can repeat, and let's, create history here in Tampa and do something that was never been done in Tampa. So I think there's a good chance for him to host a trophy again in 2022.
His leadership is so different. And I think if you get to the playoffs and have somebody like him, your confidence boosts so high that you automatically play at your best level. Did you see how the defense played the Super Bowl? What? His presence is so great. And I think having him on the team is like, if you play Madden and you play Ultimate Team, and you have these cards that have you can boost, and he's like an absolute booster.
The funniest thing that I've ever seen Tom Brady do was after they won the last Super Bowl and they had a boat parade in Tampa down the Hillsborough River. It was a nice warm day. The players had their shirts off. They were horsing around. They were having a good time. They were probably having a beer or two. And everything's going along, and everybody's waving and everybody's happy. And then Tom Brady decides to underhand chuck the Super Bowl trophy to the boat behind him, and one of the receivers there catches it. And when you're watching him do this, you're thinking, this is insane. The Super Bowl trophy is going to go glug, glug, glug to the bottom of the river, but he completed that pass too. But it was a moment where, I thought it was staged, but Tom Brady did it, and it was good for some laughs, that's for sure. You know what? How long Tom Brady will play is the million-dollar question.
If he loses, no, because he'll want to come back and win. If he wins, no, because he wants to show that he can do it a third time. So, will it be his last season? No. He will come back no matter what with vengeance.
Tom, it's 103 degrees out here. You won 7 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You still feel comfortable with your decision to come back? Why do you keep putting yourself through this?
Well, it's really fun for me to, it's very fun. I love physically to train and to put myself in a position to compete. I love the mental aspect of the sport, and I have a lot of fun doing it. It's a lot of joy in my life. So, but I gotta keep earning it. I don't think it's any aspect of me that thinks what I've done last year means anything. I got to go do it this year.
Going from there and having that mindset to keep going, and then win a Super Bowl and win another, and then win another one, then go to Bucs and win another one within a year with a new team. I think there's a lot to learn from that man.
I think Tom Brady is playing only 3 more years to the max. He can't be playing till 50. He's I don't want to say old man, but win another ring and then And call it.
Before he retires, yes, without question, he'll win another Super Bowl. Tom will get to 8. Minimum. Tom will win another Super Bowl.
What would I tell Tommy when I see him next? First thing I'm gonna tell him, I'm gonna congratulate him on winning his 7th Super Bowl. Tell him that I love him. And we started that dynasty in New England.
I think that is something big that we can learn, not only for sports, but for life in general. To focus on what is possible and not all the things or all the odds that are against us.
I would totally agree with my kids taking Tom Brady as a role model, from a guy that was not drafted very high, was drafted very late, to then rise up and become, the biggest person in the game.
Today's Tom Brady, I think he don't get no pushback. You talking to a man that has won 7 Super Bowls, been to 10. What can you push back on him about? You trying to learn from the best.
Oh, there's no way Tom Brady is going to be a football coach. He might become a president. His aspirations are a lot higher than being a football coach. I see him being a CEO of a company, but he does like politics. So it would not shock me. And to be honest with you, right now, if he ran, he'd probably have a chance of winning.
Tom Brady for president. Has a good ring to it, but I think too many people hate Tom Brady as much as they like him.
Let's go, Brady!
He's the most hated quarterback because he's the best quarterback.
Tom Brady never looked back.
He's got an incredible ability to focus on whatever he's doing at the time.
He took it upon himself to work really hard.
Just that drive to be the best that he could be.
Tom Brady's a winner. He will come back no matter what.
My favorite story about Tom Brady is definitely his answer to the question, what is your favorite Super Bowl ring? And he said, the next.
Brady.